Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Right Wing Rico. This is a safe and effective podcast, and we're just going over the news today. Today is February the 18th, 2025. We are deep in the future. So let's go ahead and get into this first story. We are going to talk about, I've received some articles about the coup in New York, how the governor, Holcomb, who shouldn't even be the governor, she was the lieutenant governor when Cuomo left, and then they raised her up, and then they said people voted for her. But now that we know about all the fraud in California, the state of New York, I doubt that those votes were real, and she earned it. She didn't. But she's anyway attempting a coup by removing Eric Adams because she feels that he is becoming he's basically working too close with the conservatives and with Trump, especially when it comes to the immigration issue, because legalizing immigrants so that they can vote is the ultimate goal, and we cannot allow that. So we're going to get on that. We're going to go to that next. Right now, we're going to talk about the delusion and this sickness that has taken over the country. It says a trans NCAA runner named Cece Tefler claims men's titles won in women's sports can't be revoked. And I quote, "That's not how the direction of progressiveness works." First things first. In the history of human civilization, there has never been a surgery that a man could have that would give him the ability to ever birth children. Butt babies are not really a thing. You are a mentally ill person who they have been, you've been diagnosed, but people are playing into your delusion because they want to use you. You are a weapon against the republic. All of these people are being turned into weapons to be used against the republic. For some reason, a lot of them are black, and a lot of them also share this strange trans ideology. And it's, I'll be honest with you, it is a side effect of autism derived from the injections they give you as a child. A lot of my friends, when I was growing up in Los Angeles, the injections drove them crazy with your brain swelling because of the aluminum and the mercury. It seems as if in the 90s they tweaked the formula, and now instead of the boys becoming hyper violent, hyper aggressive, and unable to process complex data in their brains without getting a headache and becoming over emotional, instead they became gay, all of them, but mainly the dark ones, the boys, the black kids. That's why Robert F. Kennedy has been screaming for years with Del Bigtree that the vaccine schedule for children has been a direct attack against black boys. He's quoted saying this on record, and he's literally explained to people that injections affect people differently based on race. But what he's really saying is that the difference between people, races, is testosterone levels, and the injections are testosterone reactive. If you understand this, then you can understand why this particular group is so important to control, because the injections can change them and who they are and make them malleable. Again, this is a man pretending to be a woman and telling you that that's not how the direction of progressiveness goes. That's in your opinion. That is not reality. You do not get to decide what is progressiveness and what it's not. You're wrong. This is on the post millennium. The first biological male to win an NCAA title spoke with CNN on Tuesday, saying that the athletes' identities are under attack in America. The athlete is willing to sit down with Donald Trump and have a conversation surrounding trans-identified males in women's sports. The fact that you're a male in women's sports is a problem. You're not supposed to be there. Let's just play a clip from his video, shall we?
I wonder how you react though when you read that the Department of Education they should be stripped.
If somebody is truly working or a part of the Department of Education, they would be smart and educated enough to know that something like that is not, that's not how history works, and that's not how the direction of progressiveness works, and you can't take back history.
Oh, sorry about that. I have someone coming over to cook due to my meal preps, so I had to take that call. But again, I'll be honest with you, I don't know which one is worse. The Black culture of violence or the gay culture of grooming and attempting in every way possible to remove the restrictions of and the penalties for having underage intercourse with children. The whole goal is to normalize and decriminalize. It's already happened in California. It can spread to other states. When it comes to the Black culture, I had a friend of mine whose son was just killed while walking down the street with a girl he met. Granted, they were in the city of Compton, but there's no protests. No one seems to care besides his father and his father's friends. There will be no riots. There will be no interviews on the news because the people that killed them were not white men that were straight. That's Black culture. So when you mix Black culture and gay culture and you call it trans, well, now you have a trifecta of evil that is literally tearing our country to shreds. People are more confused than ever with an extreme level of anxiety. And if you're using apps like TikTok, you're becoming more and more radicalized. However, there is a turn and it's not going according to plan. But to see that there are still men out here, even at the president's executive orders, who are pushing for men to be able to invade women's spaces. If that's the case, then why even have women's spaces? I mean, if this is what women, but see, that's the thing, all women are not asking for this. However, the loudest of women are promoting this. They're promoting their own erasure, which it makes no sense to me. But that's why, in my opinion, women shouldn't vote. What do they vote for? They vote they vote against their own self-interest. They vote to bring men into their spaces when they pretend that men are their worst enemies. It's a woman is the equivalent of a double-minded man. You can't have things both ways, unfortunately. So when it comes to trusting women with policies, for some reason, not all of them, a lot of them think with their emotions and not with logic. Logic should dictate to you that a man pretending to be a woman should not be in a locker room with his genitalia exposed to your small child, or left in a room with your small child while you're away. A liberal mindset woman will not see the error in those ways. So I don't trust certain people to have access to children or to be around them or to make decisions for them. However, humoring their conversations, it literally dilutes the discourse in this country. And it's why we have to ignore certain people to progress and move forward. This person right here is a mentally ill man that will likely delete themselves before the age of 34. That is the average, because it is a lonely life. You will have no children. You will never have a wife. You will have no family. All of your sex that you've ever had would have been pointless. You might as well have just screwed a hole in the wall for the last X amount of years of your life. And one day when you wake up and you realize that there is no future for you, you will self-delete. That's the reason why the depopulation agenda of 2030 pushes so hard to turn young men and women into incels and into trans. A trans incel will never reproduce. They won't have children. They won't build a family. There will be no strength, no structure. There will be nothing for them to fight for. As of today in the United States, we still fight to protect our families. We're fighting against globalists and communists and Marxists. If you look at who are the Marxists, the Black community where the Marxists are trained, they do not reproduce purposely. They do not do families anymore. The object or idea of marriage and monogamy are things of the past. there is no belief in God, but there is support in this ideology, which hurts and harms children without accountability. That's and people might think that I have certain types of views that are not necessarily, people feel this way. They just won't say it out loud because they're worried about backlash. You can't be worried about that when we have children to protect. Someone cannot be mad at me for saying things that are against those who are doing wrong. Just like when I say, hey, people should not be telling illegals how to circumvent and skate the system. That's wrong too. We're a country of laws. If you don't respect our laws, or then you don't respect our nation, then this is not the right home for you. And if you don't agree, if you want to fight about it, you can do that. Don't get on TikTok and say, hey, somebody else go throw their life away. You should be the change you're looking for. You go do it yourself. Again, we have a huge problem with these people that are now hunting children. They hurt children. They're hurting women, but that's only a step closer. The more you give an inch, they take a mile. It's women's sports today. It's women locker rooms tomorrow. Then you're not an ally if you're not allowing your children to stay the night, if you're not forcing them to date or to have intercourse or to report one of them touching or doing something to your child. Now you are, now you're basically a bigot. You're an enemy. The parents who want to comply with this are very interested in becoming a part of their cult, and they're willing to use their children as payment for entry. They cannot live with these people no more. And mentally ill people hurt mentally ill people. They're unstable. Again, humans have been living a certain type of lifestyle all of through history. When you're trying to reinvent the wheel, it does not generate the results that you're hoping for. There is a depopulation agenda. This person likely will depopulate themselves. They will not pass away from old age. They never do. Understand, if you allow this ideology to fester in your child's school, when your children think this is an option for them to gain attention and notoriety, you will lose your child. They will not create a grandchild as a replacement for them, and your gene pool ends with them. And remember, there's no need to start a war or to go and delete people and depopulate them if you can manipulate their lifestyle enough where they will eventually want to depopulate themselves. And that's where we are with this. You do not get to decide what the direction of progressiveness is. If that's the direction of progressiveness, then there will be no more progress. There can't be, because that means we're going backwards. We have to protect women and we have to protect children from men. As men, this is our job. This is a man. This is not a woman that we're protecting women and children from. We're protecting women and children from other men. I am black. I'm a woman. You are neither a woman or a trans. There's no such thing as this word right here. There's never been a successful surgery in all of human history anywhere on earth where a man was able to undergo a procedure where he could now give birth to a child. You will never be a woman. That is, and to even print this is ridiculous. But however, this is the post-millennium. This is just an article they wrote, and they're quoting this sick individual, which should not even be given the time of day to expose this nonsense ideology into the masses. However, you have to be able to discern what this person's saying and teach your children right from wrong so they know to never fall for this or let this corrupt them. I mean, this started so late. When I was a child, this was not a thing. Never, none of this was. Me and my cousins, if we saw a man with fingernails and, look like a woman, we laugh at him. We actually still laugh and make jokes about it. Man, we saw like that. They used to do our mother's hair when we were kids. We were like, what the fuck is this creep doing? And now as an adult, once upon a time, I was liberal. I would say things like, oh, the only person who cares if a person is gay or trans is somebody who's secretly gay. That's not true. It's not. There are those of us who understand now what their goal is. Their goal is to basically decriminalize sex with kids. There's no way I can support that. And now that I understand that as a man, that is my job to fight against that verbally in any aspect, any context whatsoever. We got another story coming up. I do want to talk about the New York Eric Adams situation. It's a coup. I'm not an Eric Adams fan. I feel like just like the rest of them, he's just a grifter trying to save his own ass. But you know what? an enemy of my enemy is my friend for now. So we're going to talk about that next. Like and subscribe, share the video. Do not let your kids get too exposed to this. Kids are already confused as it is. This will just confuse them even more. And then you're going to end up with a not so favorable outcome for your family. Like and subscribe, hit the button, all the good stuff that people say on other channels. Do that for me. If you can, follow the YouTube channel. We're looking to build up more followers there as well. Thank you, and I'll be back shortly with another video. Appreciate it.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.